Hello, hello. I'm just waiting to make sure that all of my tech looks synced. Microphone looks good. All right, I think we're good to go. So, welcome to one of our first live master classes here in the Living Luna community. This is being distributed exclusively on our YouTube and in our Facebook community. So, welcome. I'm so glad that you're joining us. Most people that know me at this point know that I'm super passionate about Body of Nine. And today I'm going to get into why I'm so passionate about it, why I believe in it, and teach you some of the basics so that you can begin to consider how this might impact you in your own life. So, again, I'm Safrianna Lughna, the Queer Spirit Guide. I am a Body of Nine senior journeyman. I have been involved in the Body of Nine community for nearly 2 years now, and it just continues to expand my life, my work, my everything. So, I can't wait to teach this to you today. Our presentation today is called Unlocking the Nine Paths of Human Potential. And I'll tell you a little bit more about me here in a moment. But this is something I really want you to pause and consider how this could impact you in your life, how knowing this information could unlock your next level of self development, relationship in your family, just literally all of that comes up to play with this. And I'm going to get into so much of that today. So, I am Safrianna. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Maryland. I'm retired from one on one service, but I have continued to try and bring therapeutic teachings to the world, and really to bring peaceful inner harmony to people, one teaching or one little inner step at a time. And I'm a holistic transformational guide. I do still work one on one with clients, but on the soul level, on a holistic level, going really deep. I'm also the CEO of Living Luna. So if you're here in our community spaces, welcome, and know that I believe your contributions to this community are truly important, and something that sets our community apart is our willingness to see the contributions of every single soul as an essential part of our growth. So, thank you and welcome. I also do consultation and professional education on LGBTQIA issues, polyamory, basically diversity, equity, and inclusion for those populations. As I said earlier, I am a journeyman in the Body of Nine system. I'll get into that a little bit more later. And I am a natural number nine. That's the most relevant part of this today. I'm natural number nine. I also consider myself a druid, a quantum creatrix. I'm a Reiki master and a certified star archetype practitioner. So I'm like really seriously about the self development work. And I just love using a variety of tools to get to know myself, as well as to help me get to know how others work in the world too. And that is where Body of Nine comes in. So, I'm going to go over a little bit of what to expect in this masterclass today. And if you are tuning in live at any point, please feel free to drop questions in the chat and just let me know what you're curious about. So, today we're going to go over what I mean when I say the nine paths of human potential. I'm going to go over a framework with you of what Body of Nine teaches, and nature versus nurture, which is a key component of this, how this information impacts you, your life, your personal life, and your professional life. I will go over each of the natural numbers, of which there are nine, and tell you a little bit more about them and their gifts. And then I'll also get into what more is possible as healers and service providers, and even just like family, as we embrace this knowledge. So, lots of stuff to go over today. And I want you to honor your time, honor your curiosity, honor who you are, where you've come from, why you've shown up today as you land in this information, because to me it's been, like I said, very much truly life-changing. So, what are these nine paths of human potential? The study of our natural numbers is a rediscovered ancient truth that's rooted in our physical bodies, and this reveals our authentic self, empowering us to transform our life with a profound understanding of ourselves as well as others. And this is taught in the Body of Nine system. Ultimately, Body of nine brings together cohesion and completion within ourselves and the world. And this is so important. When we look at modern day society, so much of modern day society is based on one size fits all. There's one right way to be, there's one right way to show up. Neurodiversity isn't super celebrated, and certainly not if your neurodiverse presentation shows up as neurodivergent. There's a lot of critical judgments in the world about how to be, who to be, how to show up, etc. And what uncovering my natural number and beginning to understand the other natural numbers did for me is really fundamentally changed my understanding of the different types of people in the world. So I was always a person that understood diversity is a thing and let's celebrate our differences. My whole brand and company is founded on that. But to understand that there are actually nine different body models in the world and what this does to inform us really, really tremendously changed everything. So, something that is so fascinating about this work is that in biological families, we've come to understand that these numbers don't seem to repeat in between parents and children until there are more than eight children in the family. And unfortunately, as a result of this, our lack of understanding of natural numbers has led to a serious nurture problem in the world. So, our nature is based on the physical reality, a fundamental level of who we are. Our nature is our core, it's our base personality characteristics, it's what is going on in our body. It is literally the nature of who we are. And this little graphic I have here shows a motherboard inside of a computer. Nature is like our hardware, it's the actual components of who we are. Nurture, on the other hand, is variable and it's based on lots of distinct variables. So, our upbringing, the social relationships that we took part in, the culture that we were raised in, our own personal experiences, and our traumas. So our nurture is more like software that gets installed on our hardware. If you can imagine, right? Like you have a computer and you have antiviral software on there, and you've got different web browsers and different tools. All of that is installed on there. It comes from an outside source and it's installed onto the computer. So our nurture is really what's installed within us by parents, by teachers, by society, and we need to move away from over identifying with our nurture, right? Because a lot of that brings in limiting beliefs and just all kinds of inner turmoil, and get back to our nature, who we truly are in our core. And that is part of what Body of Nine teaches us. So, Body of Nine gets us back to who we truly are under the surface so that we can relate to ourselves in an entirely new way. So, before I even get into teaching about the natural numbers and some of what this means, I kind of want to talk about what it isn't. So, as I just went over, it's not nurture, it's actually nature. It's actually your body model. Now, other people ask, I hear this question all the time, is my Enneagram number the same as my natural number? What about my life path number? They are not the same, aside from the fact that they use numbers. So, yes, natural number describes nine different regions in the body, our center of natural leadership, but it's not a personality quiz that we can take. It's actually based in physiology. And what this means is that it doesn't change. Now, your life path number doesn't change either because it's based on your birthday, but your Enneagram number may change because it's based on your personality. And when you go back into any personality system, of course, you can take the quiz again and get a different result, right? I do that all the time with all kinds of systems. But this, again, is something that is truly kept the same throughout your lifespan and really is indicative of so many layers of who you are fundamentally. We're going to get into all of that today. So, yes, on a fluke, your life path number and your Enneagram number could match your natural number, but it's not guaranteed and it's honestly not expected. Because again, natural number is a reflection of your physical nature, whereas Enneagram or Enneatype is more personality based, a reflection of your nurture, the beliefs that you have, and life path numbers are based on your time of birth. So I'm really inviting you to come back to your body with this system. I believe that the body is a missing element in so many things right now. We have really over identified with the mind, we've really over identified with uh, all of the thinking, all of the doing up here, and less of who we really are at our core and what's happening within us. What is our inner experience? What's our spiritual experience? So I really love this system for how it brings us back to our body and into our authentic self. So let's go over the centers of natural leadership in the body. So, as I've been implying this whole time, body of nine is the understanding that we have these nine different regions of physical leadership in the body. And you can see this here. Seven is here in the forehead, one is in the throat, five is on the back of the head. We have three in the collarbone region, six in the upper chest, two in the upper abdominals, four down in that sort of sacral center. Nine is on the back between the shoulder blades. Like I said, I'm a natural number nine. And eight is actually down into the glutes and the sacrum. So each of these centers of leadership, we actually govern our movement from this place. When we're in alignment, when our body is in flow, we actually lead with this center of leadership. So for me, for example, being a nine, you can see that's back there in the shoulder blades. I have a strong tendency to sort of lean back, to roll my shoulders back and down, and I can even feel as I'm doing this the musculature in my shoulder blades, because that is something that's natural and inherent to natural number nines. Natural number ones, as we'll get into here in the throat, often have a lot more sort of definition in the jaw and in the neck. And so, this center of leadership that's brought online when you are born, and does not likely match your biological parents unless you were way down the sibling line, determines how you begin to interact with the world, where you lead from, how you show up. So let's get into some of what the natural numbers actually determine, because again, you can go take a quiz for a personality type and it gives you sort of a breakdown of how you might think about the world and whatnot. But your natural number goes even deeper. So on a physical level, your natural number determines that leadership center that was activated when you were born. It also determines subtle characteristics that are developed through your bones, muscles, and fascia. So, this means your actual posture, your movement, the structure of your body is all determined and developed on the underside by your center of leadership. So while you may have heard things like, wow, you look so much like your mom or your dad, or, you look like your sister, those family resemblances, yes, that absolutely is a thing, but it's subtly changed by your natural number. So, whether you have higher curved collarbones, or a longer neck, or a square jawline, or your eyes are a little bit wider, like all of these things are the subtle differences that come through the natural number. The other thing that's so important in understanding the physicality of body of nine and the natural numbers is that your natural number determines the main reasons that you use your eyes and your common facial expressions. So I like to give an example here of RBF. So if you don't know what RBF is, I'm about to swear, it's resting bitch face. Uh, RBF is that sort of like neutral expression, usually used to describe women. Whole other story there. But there are actually several different reasons that RBF may be happening based on your natural number. So this really teaches us that many of the common body language things taught, they don't actually apply to everyone. They only apply to some people, because there's actually nine different forms of body language. So for me, if I have a neutral face, so I'm going to try and allow myself to be as neutral and engaged as I can possibly be. My face goes very neutral. my eyes become almost passive or glossy looking, and my face doesn't show expression. This is actually how I show up authentically in engagement. Now, of course, I might do some eyebrows or some smiles every now and then, but for the most part, if I am deeply paying attention as a natural number nine, I have a very relaxed, passive looking face. For a natural number two, this face actually indicates that they are ready and able to engage with others, but that there's not engagement happening right now. As soon as you engage with a natural number two from this sort of neutral face, you get sparkly eyes and usually a pucker of the cheeks, a smile, and a hello, I'm here. For natural number six, this face usually means that they're intensely focused on a task, not you. And you probably want to leave them alone while they finish up their task. So, again, there's so many subtle little physical things that our natural number actually governs. And the eye quality contact is huge. So, I'll get into this a little bit more in a bit. But one through four engage with the eyes in a very specific method to pay attention and establish a connection with another person. So one through four are really based on physical and connection through the eyes to establish that relationship with someone else. Whereas five through nine use their eyes for different purposes and usually establish a connection more through a shared activity or a common goal or purpose versus just the in the moment eye contact. So it's a very fun thing to explore in our society where, depending on the family you grew up in, depending on the nurture that you received, you may have been told, like, either look into my eyes because that's respectful, or you may have never been given eye contact and you needed it because your parent may have not needed that eye contact. So it's like, depending on who you were raised by and who you get these messages from, your nurture may have started to override some of that nature. So, natural numbers for self growth and development and things like that, this is a really useful framework for getting into that because it not only acknowledges the innate strengths and gifts that are in your body, but it then allows you to grow them even more, to really empower yourself to lean into them. So, for me, as an example, as a natural number nine, before I knew my natural number, I knew that I had a really, really big picture view of the world. I didn't know everyone else didn't also have that big picture view of the world. Knowing that and knowing that my purpose is to bring harmony to communities, to achieve balance, to help unify, that's allowed me to lean into that even more and excel in my strengths, develop them further, and celebrate them in a community, to have a community of people that acknowledge these gifts. And that's part of, learning your natural number, and your loved ones' natural numbers can help you improve those relationships, which I'll get more into, but by the virtue of knowing your gifts. Knowing your natural number also activates that inner sense of leadership. You can access your gifts on a foundational physical level first. Again, I believe there's an epidemic in the world where we've become so detached and disconnected from our bodies that we're missing the wisdom that is here in our physical forms. We experience everything here on earth through the body. Everything. That's what having a body here means. So, what would it be like to tap into the body and its gifts even more? And over the last 2 years, I've discovered that it's truly tremendous. And then the other thing with our self development and growth here is understanding and honoring who we are at our core nature, and how we can have a greater impact in the world. It brings forward that purpose and meaning. And purpose and meaning is so essential to life. When we know our purpose and we find meaning in our lives, we're excited to show up. We are able to be in authenticity, arrive as who we are. And that feels so aligned, so good, right? Hiding ourselves and trying to hide the truth of who we are is very draining. It's got a huge negative impact. It's exhausting to put a mask on all the time. So, this system really honors who we are at our core fundamental physical level. So, next, family relationships, partnerships, communities. How does natural number impact us there? So when we interact in a community and one on one with more curiosity, everything begins to change. So, Body of Nine for me was a gateway to more curiosity. As a therapist and a teacher, I was already very curious about people, curious about my clients, curious about my students. But this layered in so much extra curiosity like, what's going on in the body? How are they using their eyes? What is their underlying gift? Like, it got me to think about these things on a whole new level, and that leads right into the second gift here, which is we begin to celebrate and meet each other's unique differences and needs in a whole new way. And this can reignite romantic attraction. It can improve our parenting. It can lead to so much understanding and why our family dynamics were the way that they were. Because again, this is routed in the body. It's routed in the body. It goes into the eyes. It's in the mind. It's our physio spiritual reality. And so we really want to be in genuine support and community with one another, but we don't always know how to be. And in knowing these nine numbers and what they mean at a basic level, we can begin to establish much stronger connections and really meet each other where we're at with gentleness, curiosity, etc. So I cannot say enough how much understanding natural numbers has changed my relationships for the better in community, in romance, in family, all of it, because it just layers in that extra bit of understanding at a level that Myers Briggs or any type or personality quizzes, astrology, even sometimes just doesn't give us when it comes to actually relating to one another. The system really genuinely teaches us how to relate to one another, which gets into the final sort of category here that I really want to talk about today, which is how your natural number helps you understand your relationships at work and with your clients. So, in traditional or independent workplaces, knowing our natural number can actually give us tools and strategies to recover from stress as well as to advocate for our needs. So, when we know our natural number, it somehow empowers us to talk about our needs even more and have the vocabulary to do that with. And so we find ourselves more open to establishing those boundaries in workplaces or saying what we need, needing, being open to needing and sharing what we need with others. And I'm not going to teach this today. It's something that we teach in the Body of Nine community, but learning how to activate your natural number and resonate deeply with it from an empowered leadership space really helps with stress management and release because it helps us step back into our power to get back to ourselves at that fundamental level. It also has the capacity to amplify the impact of a full team so that everyone on the team's gifts are acknowledged and a part of the structure. So, this is absolutely applicable in a corporate environment as well as in a nonprofit, as well as in a family based team. Knowing who you've got on your team and what their natural underlying gifts are can be a tremendous boon. I see Body of Nine as a shortcut. Now, I am not I'll speak to this very specifically here because I am normally not pro shortcut. I'm just going to say it. I think that things need to be done to the highest integrity and well. So some shortcuts to me feel gross because they're usually bypassing something, right? By their nature. But this is a shortcut that improves communication, self understanding, family dynamics, so much more in potentially an hour or two of mastery, of just learning the information and then beginning to apply it to the day to day life. It is hands down. I went on a trip where everyone in the room knew their natural number, and the communication was so much more effortless than in a group where we don't have that information. Just by virtue of being able to say, "What's your natural number again?" And knowing, oh, right, threes are all about joy and they need eye contact, even if it feels intense to me, because threes give very intense, vibrant, electrifying eye contact. Okay, this person needs this from me, so I'm going to show up a little bit more than I might if this person was a 5 and I knew that they didn't actually need to make eye contact with me in order for us to have this deep conversation. So that's what I mean by shortcut. And it's in a curiosity piquing and person centered way. So I really do like this as a shortcut. The main takeaway from this first half of the presentation that I want you to have is that when you learn your natural number and the natural number of others, a seed of understanding is planted within you that continues to grow on its own. And it starts to make context around you, around your core self, around your experiences, around your relationships in the world. And it can be absolutely life altering. So consider this. How can knowing this information really begin to tune you into a better life, a more aligned life? We're going to get into the really fun part now. This is the part everyone loves. They're always so curious and they want to determine what natural number they are. Over here on the left on this slide, you can see the beautiful sigils that were created to embody both the color frequency, and just the symbolism or the main concepts of the natural numbers. And it's such a I love symbolism. So I love looking at these and just kind of seeing the energies, and they go in order. So 1 is at the top with that dark blue, 2, 3, 4 on the second row, 5, 6, 7 on the third row, 8 and 9 in the bottom right there. So these are really cool. There's stickers of them, all kinds of fun stuff out there. Susan and Martin used to have t-shirts. Maybe they'll bring the t-shirts back, but each natural number has its own gift. Before I get into this portion, I want to say this. Reading the descriptions of this and trying to guess which natural number that you are is fun. And you want that outside perspective to confirm, because we can have internal bias, we can have that nature versus nurture argument, right? We are more likely to identify with our nurture when we've been there for a while. So as I go through the gifts, you might resonate with one, you might resonate with more than one, but ultimately at the end of the day, you are going to have one center of leadership that truly underlines everything else in your life. And those of us who do identification, when we aim to identify someone, there is a process where we're looking at your body, we're looking at your face, we're looking at your movement, and asking you some questions to determine. But that's where we start to get under the nurture into the true nature. So please don't try to guess what your natural number is and then like go from there. But there's lots of reading and teaching material, and you can learn this information. You can begin to embrace and embody this. But for now, let's just get curious about what they are. All right. So, starting with natural number 1, we're going to be going in order here. Natural number 1 is here in the neck. This is the hyoglossus, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I am not the best with muscular names and body-based stuff, so if I butcher anything, I do apologize. But the hyoglossus is here under the chin. You can kind of feel this when you wiggle your tongue around and kind of play with your jaw. Natural number 1 is all about acceptance, appreciation, and connection. And they have this beautiful upward chin tilt that they do when they are deeply honoring us. They establish connection with the eyes. The eyes are soft, they're receptive and giving in a way. There's this loop of energy that can be established between a natural number 1 and us when we're truly connecting. And natural number 1s recognize, they respect, and they experience the value of others. They really truly know that each of us is perfect and worthy, and they see the awe and beauty in the world around us. And this honoring and respecting others is how they establish their connections. So again, the activation region is here under the throat, and natural number 1 teaches us how to connect on a deep honoring level, how to appreciate one another, and how to find greater acceptance in the world. Natural number one has this beautiful ability to tap directly into source and see the perfection of the world. And where we get to help our natural number ones is sometimes they really struggle to apply this knowledge of perfection to themselves. So when we know or love a natural number one, we can really help support them in seeing how beautiful and perfect they are too. All right, natural number two. Natural number twos are here in the upper rectus abdominis muscles. So you can kind of see where I'm pointing down here. It's really the center point in the ribs, and they extend their center of leadership out from there. They can really pivot and move through the center of the body in a very unique way. And that is due to how their body develops as they are growing. Natural number two teaches us about relationships, about how to engage with one another, and how to be in movement. So, natural number twos connect through actual engagement with others. So, whether it's sitting and having a conversation or doing an activity together, it's a merging and a tuning through the body to the person that the natural number two is relating with. And it is for the sake of connection alone. Natural number twos are able to meet us exactly as we are in the moment because they are only concerned about the connection, not the fact that the connection is constantly changing and growing and morphing and all of that. They are here for the connection. So they want us to show up exactly as we are in each moment. And they have an underlying understanding that people change and that they're dynamic and that things will shift. So, natural number two is really here to teach us that we have to start through connection, through active engagement, because that's how things be done. And this is an important reminder of how we get things done in community. So, natural number two is really tremendous social support, tremendous group support when it comes to flowing in and out of relationships with that movement and harmonized engagement. Natural number three, here in the manubrium, the sternal notch. This is supported by the top rib and the clavicle. And so, what ends up happening as natural number threes physically develop is this begins to curve. The collarbone actually takes on more of a curvature and a more pronounced look than the collarbones of the other natural numbers. Natural number threes are about inspiration, drive, and focus. So natural number threes have this focus, this tremendous laser focus on things that can allow them to see the minutia, the little details, and to know exactly where to ask questions to pull out further detail. Uh, Natural number three, powerful force on a team for that ability to ask the perfect question and get right to the root of something because they're focused. They ignore the persona. They go straight into the heart of our being when they make deep eye contact with us, and they help us achieve our greater purpose and the joy of connecting to inspire us to move towards that purpose. So, natural number threes have like a well of joy from within that can come up and pour out. They tend to have very beautiful, big smiles. They have those deep, sparkly eyes. And as I described earlier, the eye contact from a three can feel really intense because there is this depth of connection and joy that's coming through the eye contact. So if you are making eye contact with someone and they're giving you a big smile, consider honoring it back. All right, natural number four. Natural number fours, this is that lower abdominal, the transverse abdominal muscles. In spiritual practice, this is the dantian. It's the overlap between the root and the sacral chakras. Oftentimes, my natural number four breathwork instructor would teach us to put our hands down on this low part of our body and to breathe into that. And that is exactly what a natural number four does. They have this movement and this engagement in the lower body, leaning forward with the pelvis. And natural number fours teach us alignment, authenticity, and deep connection. When you are with a natural number four, it feels like they have enveloped you in this big, beautiful, comfortable bubble and like they are your best friend in the world. And this is because they are all about that relationship with our inner infinite self. And they understand that everyone else has that too. So fours really want that authentic alignment for you to show up exactly as you are in your being so that you can tune in to your deepest life force energy. Natural number four really understands at a fundamental level how connected we are and how important it is that we drop into this deep inner awareness of ourselves and therefore of others. So, four sees the infinite possibilities that exist within. And that is an important distinction from some of the other natural numbers. So again, fours often have blinky, watery eyes. They have a tendency to just have this graceful presence and a beauty about them as they sort of glide through life, because they are really very deeply emotionally aware of that life force energy within them and within everyone else. It really brings about a beautiful emotional maturity. Natural number five. This is the back of the head. It's the I'm gonna butcher this one. The parietal bone and the temporalis muscles. So it's literally right here. And natural number fives hold the framework. They are our framework holders, holding the framework for the universe, understanding and trying to not even trying, knowing that they can access the information. As long as they can find the place to access the information, the answer can be found and solutions can be brought forward. Natural number five teaches us all about experience, how we gain knowledge through experience, how we gain understanding, how we can apply this to our greater framework and really hold a context for whatever we're doing. So in this case, natural number nine at a bigger picture sets and holds the context for transformation, for being able to get to know ourselves on a deeper level. What do we know? What do we need to find out? How is it what we know is related to everything else? What are the relationships that need to be taken into account as we consider this? So, natural number five is all about evaluating and really figuring out what they've learned in the context of what they already know and establishing how that fits into the greater framework. This allows fives to really get into inconsistencies in a way that many other natural numbers might not notice. They really are about congruence and making sure that things fit together, that they have that cohesion. And so, fives in their framework will evaluate information to determine if it's accurate. Is it important? What is going on? They may help establish that context for other people and what this means. Fives know that everything is interconnected. So, fives often have this experience of sort of going up to retrieve information. And during that time, they can't be really connected with their eyes. Their eyes either need to go offline or shut or just not be engaged in order for them to access that information. So, a lot of fives you will see kind of roll their eyes up or sort of check in with their framework. We all do this, but it's even more common in fives for this reason. They're connecting with their source of power. And natural number six. So the six is centered at the sternum, and it's the second through the sixth ribs using the intercostal muscles. The six actually expands the chest when they go into their empowerment, and this helps them assess what is before them and feel the energy that's here. So, we talked earlier about how three is focused. Three, six, and nine represent a trilogy of different focuses here. So, three is very zoomed in, and six is right here. What is here in the moment? What is alive now? What is significant? What do I need to take action on? So, sixes point us in the most alive direction and they help us find the energy to move forward, to overcome inertia, to overcome obstacles so that we can get what we need to get done, so that we can really get to making meaning and purpose. And they really feel into what is most key or alive in this present moment. So, people with natural number six often experience the energy around them in some way, shape, or form. They can feel it like a circuit through their chest, whether that's energetic information or empathic information. They're able to decode how they receive this information and then magnify it back out into the world so everyone can tap into the energy of creation. It's a very beautiful gift, and it can be very, very misunderstood because sixes are usually pretty darn direct by comparison to some of the other numbers, simply by nature. Sevens are here in the forehead. So this is the glabella, the flattened triangular elevation of the frontal bone that's just here above the brow line. So the third eye area, if you will. And this also involves the frontalis muscles in the sides of the forehead, which are where the scalp pulls back. So sevens have an incredibly beautiful gift to give that is, again, often misunderstood. So natural number seven is about change, they're about honesty, and they're about possibility. So they see a unique purpose and possibility for every single person, every single group, every single process, community, and they bring forward possibilities that either have not yet been envisioned or possibilities of how we can be in better alignment and move forward with greater purpose. So they can tell us information sometimes or share a truth with us that might be difficult for us to land in our body at the time or in our framework or in our persona. It might be difficult for our ego to receive some of this information, but natural number sevens are always delivering this information with the highest good of all in mind. Natural number seven has a set of 4 questions that govern in the background. Is this good for the world? Is this good for me? Is this like, does this actually matter in the scheme of things, and am I doing my best? And when they can answer yes to all of these things, yes, it's good for the world, yes, it's good for me, yes, it matters, yes, I'm doing my best, then it's full steam ahead, and they can move forward open. Even if they don't know things, if they don't have the information, they can have that faith and that knowing that they're moving towards greater vision. I always love to bring up Taylor Swift here because I feel like Taylor Swift deserves a shout out, because she's a woman who makes a huge difference in the world and continues to ask the question, is it good for me? She's not a woman who has diminished herself and made herself small because society demands it of her. And that's the gift of seven, is let it be good for everyone. Let everyone benefit. Let's move towards greater purpose and greater cohesion so that it benefits everyone in the world, including ourselves. That's a tremendous gift that we need to remember. And then we have natural number 8, integrity, safety, and trust. Of all the numbers, uh, the even numbers are more body based and the odd numbers are a little bit more energy based. And that's just how we experience our day to day. Natural number 8, of all of the body numbers, the even numbers, perhaps has the deepest connection with the physical form. So, natural number 8 is down in the sacrum, going through the gluteus and thigh muscles. And it's activated by actually tilting the sacrum toward the ground and clenching the gluteus maximus muscles. So sometimes we tease our beloved eights for having flat booty, because even if the booty isn't flat, it looks flat because they are tucking the tailbone up and under. And this is such a rooting thing. This is actually taught in martial arts. A lot of eight is taught in martial arts because eight teaches us how to ground and root through the earth and how to be in relationship with the earth. And it's super impactful when you can get into eight and feel the energy of your body, the connection that you have to the earth. So, in general, eights guide us forward together to create an integrity, a container of integrity where everyone is benefited. And they especially do this in physical spaces. They can really attend and attune to the needs of others in a diverse community in a physical space because they understand what that safety and comfort feels like on a felt level. And when they actually align their body with the physical source of creation, they align to the earth, they root down, they can draw up a tremendous amount of energy from the earth. And this really guides them to create an atmosphere where growth and change can happen all over the place. They lead the way and build the path for us at a beautiful pace that is like, yes, you can do this. We have an order to things. We know who needs to be involved. We know what needs to be done. Eights feel this in their body and they're able to act or react based on the information that is coming in through the body. It's a very unique and beautiful gift. And then finally, natural number nine, which is what I shared I am. Natural number nine is really here to achieve harmony and balance in the community at large, as well as to teach integration. So, natural number nine is a container in of itself. If you can just imagine a bubble for a moment, and in that bubble are all of the other numbers, one through eight. Nine is the bubble holding them all together. Nine is the edges, it's the periphery, it's the outside. And we hold this space so that things can get done within the container. So we hold the container for transformation. We bring the transformation and change process to completion. And we also release energy to create. So we let go of what needs to be let go of so that other pieces can come forward. We understand that everything needs to be included and to create unity so that we can shepherd this human experience without using excess energy or force. This is the key with natural number nine. Some of us have learned to avoid or run away from our power, but it's about not being excessive, not using excess energy or force to achieve something because that's not actually needed. So, nines activate along the spine between the shoulder blades. It's at the T6 and T7 vertebrae, and it is the rhomboid and lower trapezius muscles that are supporting all of that. So nines tend to have very back leaning shoulders. See how far back my shoulders tend to sit. And they have more musculature in that mid back in the shoulder blade region. Nines are here to share the impact that we have on one another and really ensure that we are moving forward with harmony for all. So those are the gifts of the nine numbers. And now I want to get into, again, like I said, you might have a guess of what you are. Wonderful, right? It's great to read up on that or just start to experiment, like what's going on in my body, getting curious. But what is possible when we take this to a deeper level? So much is possible. Let me just start with that. There is so much that is possible when we take this information and we integrate it into ourselves. Like I said, nine is about integration, nine is the end and the beginning. We understand that before you move on to the next thing, you need to integrate and land in your body what you already learned or how you grew or what you did so that you don't repeat the same things over and over again. So, when we learn our natural number, it gets us super curious about what's going on within us, also what's going on within others. So, at a deeper level, where can we take this? The coolest thing ever is that you can learn how to embody and embrace each of the other eight natural numbers gifts. In other words, you can basically become superhuman. This is our ultimate goal in body of nine is for a deeper understanding between people where we can actually walk a mile in someone else's shoes and have a fundamental empathic or uh, embodied understanding of how other people experience things. And when we learn to activate all other eight numbers, so yes, learning to activate your own is the first step. So learning your natural number, learning how to activate it, learning how to be empowered, and letting that land in your body for like 6 months. That's really the first step. But then you can go deeper and you can learn to actually embrace the other numbers. I love going into seven and eight. I love going into two. I love going into one. I love going into four. I love going into six. I love going into all of them, honestly, but there are some that I lean on more because they actually enhance my natural gifts, or they are not a part of my package of normal skills. And when we actually learn to activate these other centers, we find that we are actually able to drop into their gifts, even if for a short period of time. The next thing that I'm so excited about of what's possible on a deeper level is the transformational sequence. Susan's calling it the transformational flow. It's a sequence of all nine natural numbers and their gifts, along with questions that we can ask for each and activities that we can ask for or do for each that lead us to better decision making, that can framework out an entire retreat format, that can provide us a structure for our coaching and healing sessions with clients. So many things that this transformational sequence can teach, and I'm super excited. Susan is currently working on putting all of it to writing. It's going to be something we're going to be teaching soon, so if you see yourself as someone that would love to apply that transformational sequence, definitely let us know, because we are going to be teaching a lot more about it soon. And really, the ultimate the ultimate possibility with this is changing the world one moment of curiosity at a time, really getting us into who we all are and what we all bring to the table, our unique gifts. So, I'm going to talk a little bit here about what is possible for you to unlock, how you can unlock this potential, share a little bit about the Body of Nine community and program, and we're going to be wrapping up here with this masterclass very shortly. So please, if you've been watching, I know we've got some lurkers here watching live. Feel free to say hi, ask a question if you'd like here in these last few minutes. But I'm just going to go ahead and share how you unlock the potential of your natural number. So, first and foremost, begin to get curious. How do you use and experience your eyes and your body? How does your eyes and your eye contact inform the way that you see and perceive the world? How are others the same or different from you? All of this is a great place to start, even if you do not know your natural number. The next thing is exploring the alignment in your body. So you can learn to activate the posture of your natural number, and then you can use that to routinely bring about more of that physical and energetic alignment. So, for example, with a six, the six opens, lifts the chest up, they take a nice deep breath, and then they keep the chest lifted after they've finished breathing, and the shoulders relax, the back is not tense. This is really hard for me to do as a nine because my back automatically wants to go back. So, again, you can't just kind of activate willy-nilly and hope. It's about getting curious, but it's also about actually learning your center of natural leadership so you can activate it in the way that's most empowering to you. And then unpacking and getting to know your gifts and how you are unique, how your body actually informs these unique gifts. That begins to allow you to empower yourself to really take off with the shining of your gifts, of your offers. Very tremendously impactful to do. So, like I said earlier, after about 6 months of getting to know yourself and your own body in this way, you can begin to learn all of the other numbers. You can learn how the nine gifts can enhance your experience on all levels of being, etc. So it's this is potentially an ongoing lifelong process of getting to know yourself and getting to know others, but you can start now with these basic steps. You can learn your natural number through an online or in-person identification session with a Body of Nine practicing partner. We're now calling us guild members. So the journeyman and above, the senior journeyman and above, are actively practicing identifying. And then, of course, Susan and Martin are masters of this system and have been identifying people for over 20 years now. So they are absolutely the world's leading experts on this information because, like I said, this is ancient knowledge that's been reignited. So, to recap our presentation today, we unlock more of our potential when we are aware of our fundamental nature and we remember our bodies in the equation. The body is the missing piece in so many things. Our nature and our nurture both play an impact on how we show up in the world, but ultimately we want to get back to our nature and weed out the nurture that doesn't really serve, right? There's plenty of nurture we've received along the way that we like, right? Like I was nurtured to like Star Wars, and good golly, do I like Star Wars now. And I help everyone else that comes into my life learn to like Star Wars if they want to, right? That's nurture. That's not nature, but nature is what we want to get back to and know and understand. Our natural number determines how our body develops, how we use our eyes, how we engage with the world, and how we tap into our unique gifts in relationships, parenting, and work. And hands down, parenting is probably the biggest place where if everyone with kids could learn their natural number and their kids' natural numbers, oh my gosh, the world would change because I've seen it change parenting so many times over and bring families into much deeper and more harmonized relationships. It's truly beautiful. Each of the 9 numbers has incredible gifts that we went over, and we can learn to embody these gifts too. So much more is possible for us as healers or service providers when we also embrace this knowledge of the body. So let's just take a breath here and land in this present moment. This is my 9 integrating and wrapping up. So just pause here and take a breath, really focusing on the exhale to just let go anything that you don't need to take away from today. And then a nice inhale to just breathe in this new knowledge, this new potential understanding, new curiosity. And then allowing the exhale, your next few exhales, to actually install this newfound knowledge into your body, allowing it to integrate into every cell of your being. So breathing in that awareness and exhaling, allowing the breath to gently integrate and install these new systems of understanding. So something I just want to say here is that I hope, if nothing else, if you take away nothing else today, I hope you get curious about how other people experience the world differently than you. Curious about how you experience the world versus your parents, because again, you probably don't have the same experience as your parents, and they probably did want you to have the same experience. Really getting curious about how your kids show up differently if you have children. There are 9 different kinds of bodies, not just one. And I know that society loves the idea of what we call in our community a natural number 0, where everyone is cookie cutter and fits exactly the same. But that is simply not how it works. So celebrating your uniqueness, celebrating your gifts, celebrating the unique body model that you are in and all that comes with that. That is what I want for you. So just taking a few moments to anchor into your space here, look around. This is a simple tool that I use all the time to just land in peace and knowing that I am safe, supported, and loved. And if this calls to you, you're curious for more, you are welcome to go to the livinglunas.com/body of 9. I realize that this link here on the page, when you go to that, you want the B to be lowercase. For some reason, it throws a hissy fit when it's capitalized, but it's livinglunas.com/body of 9, all lowercase. You can type that in. And there you will find access to a free meditation that's inspired by the gifts of all of the natural numbers. And it just kind of invites you to energetically come home to yourself. So that is a thank you gift for being interested in Body of 9 and just integrating that information. You're also welcome to reach out to me directly at coach@safrianna.com or guide@safrianna.com. Both of those are the same email address. And I'd be happy to have a further conversation with you. Like I said, at that Body of 9 website on livinglunas.com, Body of 9, you can get that meditation. You can also get this presentation if you would like and learn a little bit more. I have a extended video talking about how this information personally impacted me in my life, and places where you can schedule a follow-up call if you are curious to learn more. I hope that this was super useful for you, that it gets your curiosity piqued, and that you might consider learning your natural number in the future, because it has hands down been the most transformative thing, I think, in my entire life that I have learned in coming into that deeper love, appreciation, and awareness of myself. So I am here. We are here to continue to help you grow, self-develop, love yourself. That's what Living Luna stands for, uplifting the others, every single person who is different and the same as us. We are here to just be in community, love, and alignment with that. So until next time, thanks for joining this masterclass. If you've got follow up questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section and I will get back to them soon.